Hello, everyone. I'm Natasha, your host for today. If this is your first time here, I want to let you know that we upload new English learning videos every single day to help you speak better English with more confidence. In today's video, you're not just going to listen and learn, you'll actually practice the kind of English that people use every day in real conversations. This lesson is all about 75 English phrases that are perfect for daily conversations. These are phrases you can use when you're talking to friends, chatting at work, asking for help, or just making small talk in everyday life. You'll hear how native speakers use these phrases naturally, and you'll get a chance to practice them with me, so they stick in your mind and become part of your everyday English. By the end of this lesson, you'll not only know these 75 powerful phrases, but you'll also know how to use them correctly in different situations. So your speaking sounds natural and fluent. So before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you never miss one of our daily English lessons. All right, grab your pen and notebook. Let's begin. Let's start by thinking about this simple fact. Most of our daily conversations are made up of short, repeatable phrases. These aren't long or complicated sentences. They're quick, natural, and often used without thinking. But if you can learn these small phrases, your English fluency will improve much faster. That's because native speakers rely on these phrases to express themselves clearly and comfortably in daily life. So, instead of translating in your head or struggling to find the right words, you'll be able to respond quickly, confidently, and correctly. The first step to fluency is to master the phrases that native speakers use every day. So, let's dive into some of the most useful ones. Let's begin with greetings and simple conversation openers. These are the first words we say when we meet someone, whether it's a friend, a coworker, or even a stranger. For example, instead of always saying hi or hello, try using hey there or what's up. These are casual and friendly. Imagine you walk into your office and see your colleague. You say, hey there, how's your morning going? Or when meeting a friend at a coffee shop, you might say, what's up? Long time no see? These phrases keep the conversation easy and friendly. Now let's do a quick practice. I'll say a short phrase, and you repeat it after me. Ready? Hey there. Now you. What's up? And again. Long time no see? One more. How's your day going? These short phrases are powerful because they show interest and make your English sound warm and natural. Moving forward, let's look at small talk phrases, things we say to keep a conversation going or to be polite. These include lines like, nice weather today, isn't it? Or, how was your weekend? Or even, did you catch the game last night? These aren't deep questions, but they help connect with people. For example, at the bus stop, you might turn to someone and say, it's really cold today, right? That one little comment can open the door to a longer conversation. The goal is not just to talk, it's to make others feel comfortable speaking with you. Let's practice a few of those now. Repeat after me. How's everything going? Busy day today? Did you do anything fun this weekend? Try imagining yourself using these phrases in a coffee shop, a store, or even while waiting in line. Practicing these in your mind helps your brain get used to thinking in English. Now let's move to common responses, the kinds of phrases you use when someone asks how you're doing. You don't always have to say, I'm fine, thank you. That sounds a bit robotic. Native speakers use variations like, I'm doing well, or not too bad, or even can't complain. For example, if someone says, hey, how are you? You can respond with, Pretty good, thanks. How about you? Or if you're having a tough day, you might say, I've been better, which is polite but honest. Now, let's repeat a few of these. Pretty good, thanks. Not too bad. Can't complain. I've been better. Keep these in your memory. They make your speech sound real, not like a textbook. Another powerful set of phrases comes from the world of agreement and disagreement. We often want to say we agree with someone, or sometimes we don't. Instead of just saying yes or no, there are many more natural ways to respond. For agreement, try, exactly, or that's so true, or I totally agree with you. These show that you're actively listening. For example, your friend says, This weather is driving me crazy, and you respond, Totally! I'm so ready for spring. That feels natural and warm. Let's try those together now. Exactly. That's true. Totally agree. You're right about that. These phrases will help your conversations feel smooth and engaging. Now, for polite disagreements, instead of just saying, No, you're wrong, try saying, I see your point, but I think, or that's interesting, but have you thought about? For example, in a group discussion, someone says, I think English grammar is useless. And you respond, I get where you're coming from, but grammar helps us stay clear when we speak. These types of responses show respect, while also sharing your opinion. Let's practice that style now. I see your point, but that's interesting, but I feel I'm not sure I agree with that. Practice these in your head during your daily conversations. The more you use them, the easier it becomes. Next, let's explore phrases for asking for help. This is something we all need to do at school, at work, or while traveling. Instead of saying just, help me, you can say, could you give me a hand? Or, do you mind helping me with this? Or, would you happen to know? These make your request sound polite and respectful. For example, if you're lost in a city, you can ask, Excuse me, would you happen to know where the train station is? It sounds much better than just saying, Where is the station? Let's go ahead and practice these useful phrases. Could you give me a hand? Do you mind helping me? Would you happen to know? Can I ask you a quick question? Try using these with friends or even during online conversations. Practicing them aloud makes them easier to remember. Another category we often need is giving and receiving thanks. Of course, we know thank you, but native speakers often add a little variety to keep things more expressive. You can say, Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. Or, That means a lot to me. And in response, instead of just, You're welcome, try, No problem, anytime, or, Glad I could help. For example, your coworker brings you coffee, and you say, Thanks so much. I really needed that. They reply, No worries. Anytime. That exchange feels real, friendly, and relaxed. Let's repeat a few of those now. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. That means a lot. And some replies. No problem. You got it. Glad I could help. Try using these when texting your friends or emailing your teacher or colleague. The more you use them, the more automatic they become. And now, let's look at a small but important habit. How to end a conversation politely, whether it's in person or over the phone. Knowing how to wrap up the talk respectfully is key. Some common phrases include, I'd better get going, or It was great talking to you, or Let's catch up soon. For example, you're finishing a chat with a friend and say, It was great talking to you. Let's catch up again next week. It feels warm. and leaves a good impression. Let's practice. I'd better get going. It was great talking to you. Talk to you later. Let's catch up soon. These phrases are gentle, polite, and effective at ending a conversation on a positive note. Let's now move on to the kinds of phrases we use when we're making plans with someone. In daily life, we often need to set up a meeting, go out with friends, or organize a quick catch-up. Instead of saying, let's meet, try more natural-sounding phrases like, want to grab a coffee sometime? Or, let's hang out soon. These phrases are relaxed, casual, and friendly. For example, if you're texting a friend, you might write, we should hang out this weekend. I miss our talks. Or at work, you could say, let's touch base tomorrow and finalize the report. These everyday planning phrases help you sound more fluent and approachable. Let's practice a few together now. Repeat after me. Want to grab a coffee? Let's hang out sometime. We should catch up soon. Let's touch base tomorrow. Try using one of these phrases the next time you're messaging or talking with a friend. Practice is what makes these phrases stick. Now let's talk about expressing opinions. In English conversations, we often share what we think, but there are more natural ways to do this than just saying, I think. Instead, native speakers might say, in my opinion, or if you ask me, or personally, I feel that. For example, during a conversation about movies, someone says, I didn't like the ending. And you respond, personally, I thought it was perfect. It wrapped everything up nicely. Using expressions like these makes your speech more interesting and gives it a personal touch. Let's practice expressing opinions now. In my opinion, personally, I feel that. If you ask me, to be honest, I think these can be used in discussions, interviews, or even when leaving a review. Start using them in your English writing too. It will help reinforce your learning. Next, let's go over phrases for showing surprise or excitement. These emotional expressions are very common in real conversations, especially when reacting to news or stories. For example, when you hear something shocking, you might say, no way, or you're kidding. Or, if something is exciting, you could say, that's amazing, or how cool is that? Imagine a friend tells you they just got a job abroad, and you respond, wow, that's incredible. I'm so happy for you. That's how you add life to your conversation. Let's repeat a few phrases now. No way. You're joking. That's incredible. I can't believe it. That's awesome. Keep practicing these, even with your own stories. Add emotion and variety to your English responses. Now let's explore phrases for offering help or support. These are phrases we use when someone needs assistance, or even just a kind gesture. Instead of just saying, I can help, try, do you need a hand? Or, let me know if you need anything. You could also say, I've got your back. These sound natural and supportive. For example, when a classmate is struggling with homework, you might say, let me know if you want me to look it over. That makes you sound friendly and helpful. Let's practice now. Need a hand with that? Let me know if you need anything. I'm here for you. I've got your back. These phrases are warm and inviting. Practice them out loud and in your messages. It will help you remember and use them easily in daily life. Let's now go over some phrases that are used when things go wrong. Sometimes you need to apologize, explain, or respond when something doesn't go as planned. Instead of saying just, sorry, you can say, I didn't mean to, or I'm really sorry about that, or even, it won't happen again. These help show that you take responsibility. For example, if you missed a meeting, you could say, I'm really sorry I missed the call. It won't happen again. That's more sincere and effective than just saying, sorry. Let's practice. I didn't mean to. I apologize for the mistake. It won't happen again. Sorry for the confusion. Use these in your daily interactions whenever things go a little off. Being polite and respectful builds stronger relationships. Sometimes you also need to decline an invitation or say no politely. This can be hard in any language, but in English, there are soft ways to do it. Instead of just saying no, try, I'd love to, but I can't. Or, that sounds great, but I'm not free. You can also say, maybe another time. For example, if someone invites you out but you're busy, you might say, I'd really like to, but I already have plans. Can we try next week? It keeps things friendly while still setting a boundary. Let's try a few now. I'd love to, but I can't. Thanks for the invite, but I'm busy. Maybe another time? That sounds fun, but I've got other plans. Practicing these will make it easier to respond in real situations when you need to say no, without sounding rude. Next, let's look at confirmation and understanding phrases. In conversation, it's helpful to show that you're following along, or that you agree. Native speakers use short expressions like, got it, or that makes sense, or I see what you mean. You can also say, exactly, when someone makes a good point. For example, during a discussion at work, someone says, we need more time to finish this project. And you say, exactly, we're rushing too much. It shows that you're listening and thinking. Now let's repeat these phrases together. Got it. Makes sense. I see what you mean. Exactly. These short responses are very useful. They keep the conversation smooth and natural. Now, let's move to encouragement and motivation phrases. We often talk to people who are trying something difficult or feeling nervous. Phrases like, you've got this, or don't worry, you'll be fine, or just give it your best shot are common and supportive. For example, your friend is nervous about a test, and you say, don't stress. You've studied hard, you've got this. That kind of support builds confidence. Let's practice now. You can do it. I believe in you. Give it your best shot. Don't give up. These motivational phrases are not only great to use with others, but also helpful to say to yourself when you need a boost. Now let's cover some phrases for asking for clarification or repeating something. In conversation, you don't always catch what someone said. Instead of just saying, what? Try using, could you say that again? Or, I didn't catch that. Or, do you mind repeating that? For example, if someone speaks too fast, you can say, sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat it more slowly? That sounds more polite and helps keep the conversation flowing. Let's repeat these together. I didn't catch that. Could you say that again? Do you mind repeating that? What did you say? Practice these especially if you struggle with fast conversations. It's okay to ask, and these phrases make it easier. And finally, for this part, let's look at phrases we use when expressing gratitude for time or support. You might say, thanks for your time, or I really appreciate you helping me out, or that was really kind of you. These are not just polite, they make people feel valued. At the end of a call or a meeting, instead of just saying, thanks, try, thanks so much for taking the time to explain that. Let's say a few together. Thanks for your time. I appreciate your help. That was very kind of you. Thanks for being there. These kinds of expressions are great for work, study, or even casual conversations. Now, let's take a closer look at how we start conversations with people we don't know very well. Making small talk is a key part of daily conversation, and it helps you feel more comfortable in social situations. Instead of simply saying hi, try phrases like, "How's your day going?" or "What have you been up to?" These questions are casual and open ended, encouraging the other person to speak more. For example, when you meet a new colleague at work, you might say, "Hey, how's your first week going?" Or, when standing in line at a cafe, you could ask someone, "Is it always this busy here?" Small talk often opens doors to deeper conversations. Let's practice a few friendly openers now. "How's everything going?" "What have you been up to lately?" "Busy day?" "Lovely weather today, isn't it?" Try saying them aloud. These phrases are useful in daily routines, while waiting for the bus, checking out at a shop, or even during an elevator ride. Next, let's cover phrases for checking in with someone. These are especially important when you want to show concern or continue a previous conversation. You can say, "How have you been?" Or, "Is everything okay?" Or, "I've been thinking about what you said the other day." These show that you care and remember what was discussed before. For example, if a friend mentioned a family issue earlier in the week, you might say, "I was thinking about you. How's your dad doing?" That shows empathy and strong communication skills. Repeat after me. "Just checking in to see how you're doing. I've been thinking about our conversation. Is everything all right on your end? Hope things are getting better." These phrases build trust and deepen connections. Use them naturally in your texts or calls, especially with close friends or colleagues. Now, let's explore the ways we ask for opinions or feedback in a polite and engaging way. In conversation, we don't just want to talk, we also want to listen and include others. Instead of asking, "What do you think?" every time, you can say, "I'd love to hear your thoughts," or "What's your take on this?" or even, "Do you agree with that?" For example, during a group discussion, someone shares an idea, and you respond, "That's interesting. What's your take on it, Sarah?" This encourages participation and shows good social skills. Let's go over some of these together. What do you think about it? Do you agree? How do you feel about that? I'd like to know your opinion. Using these makes you sound thoughtful and considerate in any type of conversation, whether at work, at school, or in casual chats. Moving on. We often need to explain our thoughts more clearly or give examples. In such cases, transition phrases can be very helpful. Instead of jumping from one idea to another, you can say, "Let me explain," or "For example," or "What I mean is." For instance, if you say, "I prefer online classes," you can follow it with, "Let me explain. I find them more flexible and I can focus better." These connectors make your English flow smoothly and sound organized. Now repeat after me. Let me explain what I mean. For example, take yesterday's situation. To put it another way, here's what I'm trying to say. Practice these aloud. They are great for storytelling, giving presentations, or just clarifying your ideas in conversation. Let's now focus on showing agreement or disagreement politely. This comes up a lot when you're having discussions or giving opinions. You don't always want to say, "You're wrong." That can sound too direct. Instead, say things like, "I see your point, but," or "I understand where you're coming from, however." These sound more respectful and allow for open conversation. For example, during a meeting, someone says, "We should cut the budget," and you respond, "I see where you're coming from, but I think we should look at long-term effects first." This shows maturity in communication. Let's try it together. "I see your point, but I have a different opinion." "I understand what you're saying, however." "That's true. But let me add something. I'm not sure I agree completely. Try practicing these phrases by imagining real discussions. It will help you use them more confidently. Now, let's go into phrases we use to confirm arrangements or plans. These are the things we say when finalizing a meeting or confirming an event. Instead of just saying, okay, try, sounds good to me, or let's lock that in, or we're all set then. These show agreement and clarity. For example, someone says, let's meet at 3 p.m., and you reply, perfect, I'll see you then. That sounds friendly and clear. Let's practice together. Sounds like a plan. Let's go with that. I'll mark it on my calendar. Looking forward to it. Using these phrases makes you sound organized and positive. They're especially useful in work and social settings. Now, let's talk about casual goodbyes. In everyday life, we don't always say a formal goodbye. There are many natural ways to end a conversation politely. You might say, catch you later, or talk soon, or take care. These short farewells keep things friendly. For example, after a quick phone call, you might end with, all right, talk to you soon. Or after lunch with a friend, take care, say hi to your sister for me. Repeat these with me. Catch you later. Have a good one. See you around. Talk soon. Start using them instead of just saying bye every time. It adds variety and charm to your speech. Let's now shift to phrases you can use when shopping or ordering. These interactions happen almost daily in stores, cafes, or restaurants. Try using polite requests like, could I get a coffee, please? Or, I'm just browsing, thanks. When asking for help, you can say, do you have this in a different size? Or, could you check the price for me? These expressions are simple, but show polite confidence. Let's try a few together. I'll take this one, please. Do you have any other colors? I'm just looking, thanks. Could I see the menu, please? Practice these phrases out loud. Even role-play these situations in your mind. You'll be ready for real-life moments like ordering food or asking for help in a shop. Finally, in this part, let's include some very short expressions we call filler phrases. These are small words we use naturally while we think. English speakers often say things like, well, or, you know, or, I mean, to fill little pauses. These make your English sound more fluent and realistic. For example, well, I'm not sure, or, I mean, it depends on the situation. These phrases show your thinking and help the listener stay connected to your ideas. Let's repeat a few now. Well, you know, I mean, let me think. Try inserting them into your own short answers or opinions, but remember, use them naturally and not too often, just enough to sound fluent and thoughtful. Let's now turn our attention to the kinds of phrases we use when giving compliments or expressing appreciation. In daily life, we often admire something someone is wearing, doing, or saying. Instead of a simple, nice, try more expressive phrases like, that looks great on you, or you're really good at this. Compliments don't have to be big or dramatic. Small, sincere phrases like, you've done a great job, or I really admire your creativity, go a long way in building strong and friendly communication. For example, after a colleague presents their ideas, you might say, I really liked your presentation. It was clear and well organized. This makes the person feel valued and seen. Now practice saying these aloud. That color looks amazing on you. You're really talented. I appreciate your help today. You've been so thoughtful lately. Try saying them while imagining someone standing in front of you. It helps to make the phrases feel more natural in real conversations. Now let's look at phrases we often use to encourage others. These are useful when you want to support someone going through a challenge or trying something new. Phrases like, "You've got this," or "Don't worry, you're doing great," or "Keep going, you're almost there," are incredibly powerful. For instance, if a friend is nervous before a job interview, you can say, "Just be yourself. You've prepared well and you'll do great." Encouraging phrases help build confidence and trust in conversations. Let's try saying a few out loud now. "I believe in you." "You're stronger than you think." "You're making great progress." "Don't give up." "You're almost there." These can be used with friends, classmates, coworkers, or even with children. Encouragement builds good relationships in both personal and professional life. Moving on. Sometimes in conversations, we need to express surprise or interest. These responses keep the conversation flowing and show the other person that we're paying attention, instead of just saying, "Really? Try?" "That's amazing." Or, "No way, that's so cool." Or even, "I didn't know that." These little reactions add life to your speech. Imagine someone tells you they've traveled to 5 countries in 1 year. You can say, "Wow, that's impressive. What was your favorite place?" Let's repeat some expressions of surprise and interest. "Seriously? That's wild." "That's so interesting. I can't believe it." These are great for storytelling or listening to others' experiences. When used naturally, they make you sound engaged and fun to talk to. Now let's go over phrases you can use to offer help. In daily life, we often want to assist someone or offer support. Rather than just saying, "Do you need help?" Try phrases like, "Can I give you a hand?" Or, "Would you like me to help you with that?" Or, "Let me take care of it for you." These sound more thoughtful and willing. For example, if you see a coworker carrying too many things, you can say, "Here, let me give you a hand with those boxes." Or if a friend is cooking, you could say, "Can I help you with the chopping?" Practice these phrases now. "I'd be happy to help." "Let me know if you need anything." "Is there anything I can do for you?" "I've got this. Don't worry." These make you a considerate and polite speaker in daily life. Sometimes we need to apologize or express regret in everyday conversations. While "I'm sorry" is the most common way, there are other polite phrases you can use depending on the situation. You might say, "I didn't mean to upset you," or "That was my fault. I'll fix it." If you're slightly late, you can say, "Sorry for the delay," or "Thanks for waiting. I really appreciate your patience." These expressions help maintain good relationships by acknowledging your responsibility with kindness. Repeat these with me. "I'm really sorry about that." "Please forgive me. That wasn't my intention." "I take full responsibility." These phrases help you show respect and humility, and they go a long way in resolving everyday misunderstandings. Let's now go through some helpful English phrases for when you need someone to repeat or clarify something. In conversations, we often don't catch everything perfectly. Instead of saying, "What?" try saying, "Could you say that again, please?" Or, "Sorry, I didn't quite catch that." These sound more polite and respectful. For example, in a noisy environment, if someone says something you didn't hear, you can respond, "I'm sorry, could you repeat that last part? Now let's practice together. Would you mind repeating that?" "Sorry, could you speak a bit slower? I didn't quite catch that. Could you say it again?" "What do you mean by that?" Using these shows that you care about the conversation and want to understand clearly. Now we'll talk about expressing your needs politely. In many daily situations, like restaurants, stores, or even at work, you'll need to make a request. Rather than saying, I want, it's better to use softer phrases like, I'd like, or could I please have, or would it be possible to? For example, at a restaurant, you could say, I'd like the grilled chicken, please. Or at a meeting, would it be possible to get that report by Friday? These sound more professional and courteous. Practice these with me. I'd like a cup of tea, please. Could I ask you something? Would it be possible to reschedule? I was wondering if you could help me. Try using these in your everyday tasks. The more you practice polite requests, the more natural they'll become. We've also got phrases that help us end conversations smoothly. Sometimes we're in a hurry, or the conversation needs to end. You don't want to sound abrupt. Instead of just walking away, you can say, Anyway, I should get going, or It's been great talking to you, or Let's catch up again soon. For example, after a friendly chat at the grocery store, you can say, Well, I need to run now. It was lovely chatting. Repeat these phrases now. Let's talk again soon. It's been really nice talking to you. I should probably get going. Anyway, I'll let you go now. These help you end conversations in a friendly and respectful way. Finally, in this section, let's go over phrases we use when things don't go as planned. Life is full of changes, and sometimes we need to cancel or reschedule. In such cases, instead of saying, I can't come, try saying, Something came up, I won't be able to make it. Or, I'm really sorry, but can we reschedule? These keep the tone respectful and understanding. For example, if you need to cancel dinner, you could say, I hate to do this last minute, but can we reschedule for tomorrow? Practice with me. Something urgent just came up. Can we move our meeting to another time? I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. Thanks for understanding. These expressions are useful in everyday work and personal communication. Let's now shift our attention to phrases that help you express opinions in daily conversations. Being able to share your thoughts clearly and politely is a key part of fluent speaking. Instead of just saying, I think, try using other phrases like, in my opinion, from my perspective, or I believe that. For example, in a group discussion, you might say, in my opinion, we should focus more on customer feedback. Or, from my perspective, it makes sense to take a break before starting the next project. These variations show fluency and make your speech sound more mature and thoughtful. Practice saying these. I honestly believe that was the right choice. From my point of view, it could have been handled better. To me, it seems like a good opportunity. Personally, I would recommend taking it slow. Repeat these until you feel confident using them naturally in real situations. Let's now look at useful everyday phrases for talking about routines. Conversations often revolve around daily habits, work schedules, or hobbies. You can use phrases like, I usually wake up around, or most days I go to work at, or in the evenings, I like to. These kinds of expressions help others get to know your daily life and keep small talk flowing. For example, you could say, on weekdays, I usually wake up at 6:30 and go for a short walk. Or, I like to unwind with a good book after dinner. Try practicing with me now. I normally have coffee before starting work. Most days, I take the bus to the office. In my free time, I enjoy watching documentaries. Every Saturday, I visit my grandparents. These kinds of conversational phrases are useful when meeting new people or getting to know coworkers or neighbors. We also often talk about future plans in daily conversations. Instead of saying I will, which can sometimes sound too formal or stiff, You can say, I'm going to, or I plan to, or I'm thinking of. For example, if someone asks what your weekend looks like, you can say, I'm going to visit my friend, or I plan to catch up on some work. These make your responses sound more natural and relaxed. Practice these phrases out loud. I'm going to try that new cafe tomorrow. I'm planning to watch a movie this weekend. I might go shopping later. I'm thinking of starting a new book soon. These ways of speaking help you sound fluent and up to date when discussing what's ahead. Now let's focus on talking about past experiences. Instead of saying I did, which is correct but can be plain, you can say I had the chance to, or I once tried, or back then I used to. For example, if someone asks about your last holiday, you can say, I had the chance to visit the mountains. It was peaceful and refreshing. Or, I once tried skydiving. It was terrifying but exciting. Repeat these with me. I had a great time last weekend. I used to visit that place often. A while ago, I took a cooking class. I remember trying sushi for the first time. These phrases add richness to your storytelling and are great when sharing memories or personal stories. Let's now practice conditional phrases. These are useful when imagining situations or giving advice. Phrases like, if I were you, or if I had the chance, or I would probably, are very helpful. For instance, if a friend is deciding whether to move to a new city, you can say, if I were you, I'd go for it. Or, if I had the chance to work abroad, I'd take it. These phrases allow you to express support or advice in a thoughtful way. Say these phrases with me now. If I had more time, I'd start a side project. If I were in your position, I'd talk to the manager. I'd probably choose the second option. If I were you, I'd take it easy today. Keep practicing these until they come naturally when you're offering suggestions or thinking out loud. Another area to explore is making suggestions politely. Daily conversations often involve sharing ideas or recommending something. Instead of saying, do this, you can say, how about we? Or, why don't we? Or, maybe we could. For example, when planning with a friend, you might say, how about we grab lunch together tomorrow? Or, why don't we take the scenic route home? These expressions keep your tone light and collaborative. Try practicing these out loud. Maybe we could meet earlier? How about watching something funny tonight? Why don't we try the new Italian place? We could also call them later. These are easy to use and help make conversations feel balanced and friendly. Let's now go through polite responses when you agree with someone. In conversations, agreeing politely shows you're listening and respectful. Instead of just saying, yes, you can say, that's so true, or I completely agree, or you're absolutely right. For instance, if someone says, it's hard to stay motivated during winter, you could respond with, I totally agree. The short days make it tough. Now repeat these after me. Exactly. That's a great point. You took the words right out of my mouth. I couldn't agree more. Practice responding this way when someone makes a good point or shares something you believe in as well. Sometimes you might not fully agree, and it's important to express disagreement respectfully. Instead of saying, no, you're wrong, try phrases like, I see what you mean, but, or, that's one way to look at it, however, or, I'm not sure I agree with that. For example, during a conversation about working from home, you might say, I get your point, but I actually enjoy being in the office more. Repeat these phrases now. I respect your opinion, but I think differently. That's interesting, but here's how I see it. You may be right, though I have a different view. That's one perspective, however, I'd argue otherwise. These polite expressions help you keep conversations thoughtful, especially in debates or discussions. And finally, let's finish with phrases that express emotions. Emotional expressions are part of real human interaction. Instead of just saying, I'm happy, you can say, I'm thrilled, or I'm feeling great today. Instead of, I'm sad, try, I'm feeling a bit down, or it's been a tough day. These help your speech sound more expressive and personal. Practice with me. I'm over the moon about the good news. I've been feeling a bit stressed lately. Today's been really peaceful. I'm super excited for the weekend. Being able to express feelings clearly brings depth to your English speaking and makes you sound more fluent and genuine. Let's now look at expressions that help you ask for clarification or more information. In daily life, you may often need to make sure you understand someone correctly, or you may need them to repeat something. Instead of simply saying, what, or say that again, you can say, could you repeat that, please? Or, sorry, I didn't catch that. Or, would you mind saying that one more time? These phrases sound much more polite and natural. Practice these with me now. Sorry, what was that again? I'm not sure I understood. Could you explain it a little more? Do you mean that we should start earlier? I didn't quite get that. Can you rephrase it? Using these phrases makes you a better communicator and shows respect during conversations. Now let's practice phrases that help when you're offering to help or being kind in everyday situations. These expressions create a supportive atmosphere in your interactions. Instead of just saying, I can help, try, would you like a hand with that? Or, let me know if you need anything. Or, I'd be happy to help. For example, if a coworker looks busy, you might say, need a hand with those files? Or, I can take care of this if you're in a rush. Repeat these phrases. Let me help you with that. Is there anything I can do for you? Feel free to ask if you need assistance. I'd love to help if I can. These kinds of thoughtful phrases are powerful in building good relationships, whether at work, at school, or in social settings. We often have to confirm or verify information in everyday life. It's useful to have polite ways to do that. You can say, just to be sure, or, so what you're saying is, or, let me make sure I got this right. These help you double-check things without sounding abrupt. For instance, if someone gives you instructions, you might say, just to be sure, you want me to send this by Friday, correct? Or, so you're suggesting we move the meeting to next week. Practice these expressions. Let me confirm this with you. If I understand correctly, you'll be out of town tomorrow? Can I check something with you quickly? So we're meeting at the cafe, right? These phrases help avoid misunderstandings and make conversations more efficient and clear. Next, let's look at conversational fillers. These are small phrases we use to give ourselves time to think or to keep the flow going while we organize our thoughts. Native speakers use these all the time. Examples include, well, let me think, you know, actually, to be honest. These phrases don't carry heavy meaning, but keep the conversation moving naturally. For example, well, I'm not sure about that. Or, to be honest, I haven't really thought about it. Try saying these naturally. Let me think for a second. You know, that reminds me of something. Actually, I had a different experience. Well, it's kind of complicated. These filler phrases help you sound more fluent and give you a moment to prepare your next sentence without stopping abruptly. Let's not forget phrases that help you exit a conversation politely. In daily life, there are moments when you have to leave a conversation without being rude. Instead of just saying, bye, you can say things like, it was nice chatting with you, or let's catch up later, or I should get going now. For example, after a friendly talk with a colleague, You might say, "All right, I'll let you get back to work." Or, "Let's talk again soon." Practice these polite exits. "I really enjoyed talking with you. I'd better get going. Talk to you later. Let's continue this later. I have to run. Thanks for the chat. See you around." These make a strong and polite closing, helping you end conversations smoothly and respectfully. Sometimes you need phrases to express uncertainty or lack of knowledge, rather than bluntly saying, "I don't know," which may seem unhelpful. You can use alternatives like, "I'm not quite sure," or "That's a good question," or "Let me find out and get back to you." These softer, more thoughtful phrases show you're open and communicative, even when you don't have all the answers. Repeat after me. "I'm not certain, but I'll check. That's something I haven't looked into. I'll need a moment to think about that. I don't have the full details, but I can find out." Using these expressions allows you to maintain conversation while staying honest and respectful. Let's now practice casual phrases you can use when meeting someone new or reconnecting after a while. These are great for social conversations and networking. You can say, "Nice to meet you," or "It's been a while," or "How have you been?" These short, friendly expressions open the door for more conversation. For example, when seeing an old friend, you might say, "Hey, it's so good to see you. How have things been?" Now try these with me. "It's been ages since we last talked. Great seeing you again. I've heard so much about you. It's a pleasure to finally meet you in person." These friendly openers set the right tone for any personal or professional interaction. When talking about preferences or making decisions, it's helpful to use phrases that express choices clearly. Instead of saying, "I want this," you can say, "I'd prefer," or "I'm leaning toward," or "I think I'll go with." For example, at a restaurant, you might say, "I'm leaning toward the grilled salmon," or "I think I'll go with the chicken wrap." Practice saying these. "I'd rather stay in tonight." "I'm more into quiet places." "I'd prefer something less spicy." "I think this one suits me better." These expressions add nuance to your communication and help others understand your preferences clearly and politely. In everyday life, it's also common to express gratitude and appreciation. Beyond just saying, "Thank you," you can say, "I really appreciate it," or "That means a lot to me," or "Thanks so much for your help." These longer expressions of gratitude sound warmer and more sincere. For example, "Thanks so much for staying late to help. I really appreciate it." Now practice these. "I truly appreciate your support." "Thanks a lot. That helped me more than you know." "I'm really grateful for your kindness." "Thanks again for everything." These are great for expressing how much you value someone's time, support, or help. And finally, let's end with some motivational phrases that can help you encourage others or stay positive. Phrases like, "You've got this," or "Don't give up," or "Keep going, you're doing great," are simple but powerful. Whether you're encouraging yourself or someone else, these words make a difference. For example, when a friend is nervous before a test, you might say, "You've prepared well. You've got this." Repeat these motivating phrases. Believe in yourself. You're stronger than you think. Just keep moving forward. Every step counts, no matter how small. Stay focused. You're on the right track. Ending your conversations or even your day with such positive expressions helps build a confident, encouraging atmosphere in English-speaking environments. So there you have it, 75 powerful, useful, and natural English phrases that can help you speak confidently in everyday life, from casual greetings to polite suggestions, from expressing feelings to offering help. From showing gratitude to staying motivated, these phrases are the building blocks of fluent conversation. Keep listening, keep repeating, and keep practicing. And remember, fluency doesn't come overnight, but with daily use of these phrases, you'll feel the improvement day by day. If you found this lesson helpful, don't forget to subscribe to English in Minutes and tap the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Thank you so much for learning with me today. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.